In this movie, I'll show you how to hide Photoshop's interface by switching to what's known as the full screen mode, which might initially seem like a daunting proposition because, after all, how do you get any work done in Photoshop if you don't have an interface? Turns out you can work in this mode, and it's a great way to show off your imagery to clients. All right, so I'll switch to what's known as the standard screen mode, which features a variety of different interface elements, including this menu bar at the top of the screen. Then we have the horizontal options bar, which is context sensitive, meaning that its options change depending on which tool is active. Below that, we're seeing the various title tabs that are at the top of what's known as the image window. Over on the right side of the image window, we have a vertical scroll bar right here. And down at the bottom of the image window, we have a horizontal scroll bar. On the left side of the screen, at least by default, we have this vertical toolbox. And then on the right side of the screen, we have a handful of panels, including, in my case, layers and color. All right, so let's say we want to switch to a different screen mode. Then you drop down to this icon down here at the bottom of the toolbox. Notice you can just click on it to switch screen modes. However, for now, you're better off clicking and holding to bring up this flyout menu. Now notice the first item reads standard screen mode. That's the active mode now. But let's say we want to switch to full screen mode with menu bar. In that case, we're seeing a lot more than the menu bar. We're still seeing the options bar, the left side toolbox, and the right side panels. But we're no longer seeing the title tabs or the image window, including the scroll bars. So now if I were to space bar drag the image here, you can see that I'm actually moving it behind the panels. All right, the third option is to switch to the full screen mode, which you get by clicking and holding on that icon once again, and then choosing full screen mode from the flyout menu. At which point, you'll probably see an alert message that's telling you how to get out of this mode. Don't worry about it. I'm going to show you how that works. So just go ahead and click on full screen, and you will enter that full screen mode. Now, inside of any of the modes, you can still switch between your open images. I still have open those same 5 from the previous movie, and so all I have to do to switch between them is press Control-Tab in order to advance forward, or I could press Control-Shift-Tab if I want to move backwards, like so. All right, so I'm going to move back to that first image. Now the question becomes, how do you get out of this mode? How do you return to the standard screen mode? And the answer is to just press the Escape key. And you're going to find that the Escape key gets you pretty much out of any jam that you find yourself in inside Photoshop. I also want you to notice, if I click and hold on this icon once again, that we're seeing the letter F next to each one of these modes. And that's F for full screen, by the way. And so pressing the F key is going to cycle you between the various modes. So here we are in the standard screen mode. If I press F, then I switch to that so-called full screen with menu bar mode. And then if I press the F key again, I switch to the absolute full screen mode. Notice this time I'm not seeing an alert message, and that's because Photoshop thinks I'm smart enough to know what I'm doing because I pressed the F key. In which case, another way to return to the standard screen mode is to just press the F key again. All right, so let's say you want to switch between the standard screen mode and the absolute full screen mode, then you press Shift F, which is going to cycle you backward through the modes. So Shift F switches you to the full screen mode. F by itself will switch you back to the standard screen mode. All right, now, even when you're working in the full screen mode, you can still bring back pieces of the interface. And to show you how that works, I'm first going to show you how to hide pieces of the interface. So for example, if you want to hide the toolbox as well as the right-hand panels, then you press the Tab key. And notice that goes ahead and hides the options bar up here as well, but it keeps the menu bar, and we're still seeing the image window. That is to say, we're still seeing all these title tabs, and we're seeing the scroll bars along the right side and the bottom of the image. If you want to bring all that stuff back, then you just press the Tab key again. Another option is to hide just the right side panels, and you do that by pressing Shift-Tab. And that way, you have a lot more screen real estate. If you want to bring those panels back, you just press Shift-Tab. And all that stuff works in the full screen mode as well. So I'll go ahead and press Shift-F to switch to the full screen mode. And I want you to note that you can do anything that we've seen so far in this mode. So I can spacebar drag the image around in order to scroll and or pan it. I can press and hold the Z key in order to get my zoom tool on the fly. And then I can click and hold in order to zoom in continuously on the image. Or I could click and hold and then press the Alt key or the Option key on the Mac in order to zoom back out. So Photoshop is fully functional when you're working in the full screen mode. If you want to bring back the various interface elements without bringing back the image window and the title tabs, then all you have to do is press the Tab key. To make them go away, press Tab again. To bring back just the right side panels, you press Shift-Tab, like so, and then to make them go away, you can press Shift-Tab again. Another way to bring back panels is to hover with your cursor. So notice if I hover on the left-hand side of the screen, I bring back my toolbox, at which point I could switch to a different tool, such as the brush tool right here, and then if I move my cursor away from the toolbox, it disappears. I can do the same thing with the right side panels. So notice if I hover over on the right side of the screen, I'll bring back the layers and color panels, for example, and I could even switch to a different layer if I like. And then if I move my cursor away from those panels, they disappear. Now, by the way, in case you're wondering why I'm seeing a little universal no icon right here, that's because I can't use the brush on this particular layer. So to make that cursor go away, I would just hover over on the right-hand side again, switch back to the background, and then move my cursor away from those panels. All right, but if you're really interested in showing off your artwork, you probably want to switch back to the least intrusive cursor there is, which is associated with the rectangular marquee, and you do that by pressing the M key, M being for marquee. And then you may even be able to move it down past the bottom of the screen in order to hide it from view. Although I've found that that behavior is a little different on the PC than it is on the Mac. So you can just go ahead and give that one a try. But in any event, that's how you switch to the full screen mode, as well as how you hide and show the interface. And always remember, if you find yourself in this mode and you're wondering how to get out, all you have to do is press the Escape key. And if you find yourself in this position where the toolbox and panels are missing, just go ahead and press Tab.